Instead of playing some sort of video game, I've decided on doing a sort of movie review on a show that I really love that not a lot of people know about, and that is To give it a little background, King of the Rocketmen is a 1949 serial created by a company called Republic Pictures, and it consists of 12 futuristic episodes, but clearly not that futuristic anymore. We start our story immediately with explosions, like a Michael Bay movie, with random scientists dying in the process. After the amazing explosions, we finally meet our silhouette villain, Dr. Volcan, who's using his inventions which control almost anything via Bluetooth before Bluetooth. Around 5 minutes in, we finally meet our main hero, Jeff King, ordering a meal.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip.
Just kidding, all that really happens is they have a board meeting of info dumping about the dead scientists. After their meeting, we meet some of Dr. Volcan's goons who are sent out to find info on Jeff King since Volcan believes he's catching on. As the goons are searching his room, Jeff King walks in and we get our first fighting scene. We got punches that clearly miss, stage dives, props being thrown, and in the end, no bruises, with King being victorious. After that intense fight, we discover that one of the scientists that Dr. Volcan tried to kill survived and gives King the rocket suit.
Well, what's so amusing? I was thinking how
The helmet looks like a trash can attached to a trash bag with hunks of metal on it. Anyways, 3 of Volcan's goons steal missiles, so King must stop them by putting on the rocket suit and chase down the car. And with this, we finally get to see what the rocket suit can do, and all he has to do to start it is twist his nipple knobs. Up and away! Once caught up to the goons, King starts a brawl with 2 of them, and they end up starting the missile, which is somehow set to hit a town, so King must fly back into the sky, reusing the footage earlier but in reverse, and shoot the rocket.
If that torpedo lands in any populated area, you'll be guilty of mass murder.
So, King shoots the rocket and gets hit with some fog, which causes him to fall to the ground several kilometers an hour and die on impact. Just kidding, once again. But they didn't intend to make it look like he died, because in almost every chapter they show him dying as a marketing scheme so people will watch the second chapter to see if he survived or not. Well, it may be a shock to you, but King survives and a report goes out about a strange figure, King, called
Rocketmen.
And with this, King is now living a double life. Some time passes and Volcan decides to get 2 of his goons to search Linda's room for a photo that she took of Rocketman. And fun fact, Linda is the only actress in the serial that's a main character. As the 2 goons were searching Linda's room, Linda comes home and they are forced to hide in one of her rooms. After a fake phone call the 2 goons made to trick Linda into revealing where the photograph is, they bust open the door they were hiding in.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition!
And with this, we get yet another amazing fight. Sadly, in the end, one of the goons successfully steals the photo, so Linda chases after him, and King later on does as well by wearing his Rocketman suit. As Linda's chasing down the goon's car, Volcan remotely controls her car, and instead of crashing into a tree immediately or something, he decides to somewhat carefully drive the car going over 100 kilometers an hour so it can go off a cliff. Rocketman sees this somehow, that she's in peril, and swoops down and tries to save her, but alas, he fails and they both die. Just kidding, what they really do is jump out of the car with seemingly no scratches or bruises and only some dirt, because I guess suits back then were made of the toughest materials.
I'd like to write an article about you for my magazine.
I'm sorry, that's impossible.
Wait, hold on. Linda and King know each other, and you can clearly see through the mask. So how can she not clearly see that Rocketman is King? He doesn't even try to hide his voice to throw her off.
The intercity bus runs along this route. There ought to be one along in a few minutes that'll take you back to town.
Wow, King. Making her take the bus that's located in the middle of nowhere and ditching her completely alone when you could have just picked her up and flown her to her house like Superman? Wow. Real nice. So, some goons steal some film to make the Rocketman photo, but it turns out to be a trap set up by King. But someone turns off the lights, so they end up in a shootout where it seems to be that everything is bulletproof, or they all have terrible aim. Oh my gosh, King just killed a guy and he seems very unfazed by it, as if he's done something like that before. But I guess he's more focused on getting that film. With some scouting, King finds the hideout where they're making the film and decides to take off his rocket suit and just walk in unprepared except for his mighty punches. And with this, we get some of more cheesy fighting scenes. And in the end, we get yet another fake death. This time, King made it out with enough time, and later, as King discusses the events to a friend, we learn that Vulcan has hidden microphones in the room, and the person who turned off the lights had a ring on him, and King is going to have a meeting where he tries to spot the person with that particular ring.
It definitely incriminates him. You are that man, Professor Conway.
I? There must be some mistake.
That's your ring, isn't it?
Yes, but
And you wore it last night when you conveniently turned the lights out in this room, didn't you?
are you trying to insinuate that
There's no use denying it. I'd recognize that ring any place.
perhaps you'd recognize this?
So, the guy, known as Conway, gets caught and tries to flee, but like we've seen a million times, King puts on the rocket suit and tries to catch him, but fails. Vulcan makes Conway hide in a hotel room and write a note confessing everything, making him take the rap for everything. But King comes to the rescue, sort of.
There are many of them in existence.
But yours is the only one at Science Associates.
No. No, there's one other member of the Associates who wears an identical ring.
Who is that man?
Quiet.
Wow, what a cliche. He tries to tell who the real villain is and dies before we can know. So dumb. But at least we get a quick sort of fighting scene to make up for it. It's like in Chapter 1, King doesn't really fall to his death, but flies away. Back in what I presume is Linda's house, she discusses with the guy's name, who I forgot, that she believes King is Vulcan, so they go visit the lab to find out. As they show up, King finds the hidden mic and fakes a phone call, which they listen to, and now they think he's Vulcan. Or at least one of his goons. With King's setup, Durkin, another professor, shows up and steals the package, and as King was about to perform his plan, Linda and get in the way, but it doesn't really affect King's plan. Durkin runs away with Linda, who just kind of hops into the plane with him. And while this is happening, King tells Kirk he's not Vulcan, and then he puts on his rocket suit to catch the plane. So King very gracefully got into the plane, but alas, it's too late and they die. Definitely for real this time. At this point, we all know what happens. King doesn't die, they both survive, and King gives Linda directions on how to get back home.
Well, I was only trying to help.
The best thing you can do is help yourself to a ride back to town. The highway's right over there.
Failing once again by King, Vulcan makes a plan where two goons abduct King, and if Rocketman doesn't save him, they know he's Rocketman. And with this, we get yet another memorable fighting scene as they abduct King.
Okay, keep your hands down and your trap shut.
Sadly, King lost the fight, and during the drive, King somehow sets up a radio signal for Professor Millard, so Millard puts on the rocket suit, and as he flies there, one goon sees the Rocket Man in the air, and he tells Durkin, and with this, we get yet another fighting scene like always.
They were going to hijack the truck. Let me have this and you call the police.
Rocketman.
So, King drowns in the water, and that's the end of chapter 6. And just like the serials, to see the rest of the 6 chapters, you'll have to wait for next week. And for now, we will just presume King died.